we'll go ahead and get started. So, hi, welcome to our next webinar in our Summer of Automation series, Essential Steps for Digital Transformation in Accounts Payable with DocLink. As always, my name is Sophia Pascuzzo. I'm the Customer Marketing Associate here at RKL eSolutions, and I do have a few housekeeping items before we get started today. So all mics are turned off for this webinar. So if you have a question, please utilize the Q&A feature at the bottom of the screen. I will be monitoring that as well as the chat throughout, and we'll try to get to your questions in a timely manner. This webinar will be recorded and available afterwards along with the slides, so look out for that email and that information in the next few days. Today, we're going to show you how you can go digital and transform AP, eliminating the paper, and automating your accounts payables processes to increase efficiency and better manage your everyday business. We are joined today by Laura Leishan, Sales Director with Altec, and I'm going to hand it over to Laura to get started right now.
All right. Well, thank you, Sophia. Thank you, everyone, for your time. So today, we're going to talk about how we can help your organization to go paperless and streamline your business process. Okay. But first, let's talk about digital transformation. It's been out for many years. But most of us did not really get into or consider digital transformation until during this COVID period. Why? Obviously, it's because, we're now telecommuting, we're, hybrid workforce and traveling, on the road, and we need accessibility and to information to keep the business running, as usual, right? So as an AP staffer, your pain point doesn't always connect with your manager pain point. So how can we align your needs with their needs? So let's take a look at why you should consider going paperless and automation. Being that we've been in the industry for over 30 years, we find that in the AP area, many of the challenges, one is the ability to access documents when needed, right? And we're not talking about just the vendor invoices. We're talking about all the documents associated, including purchase orders, the contract, packing slip, and so forth. And then secondly is the approval process. Many of us, we're still walking the piece of paper around to get approval, or picking up the phone, making phone calls to find out if something has been approved or not, and when can it be approved, or even simply tracking the individual down to get the approval. And then finally, of course, is audit trail, right? Is able to know who approved off on that $10,000 invoice 2 years ago. Do you have a way of tracking that and knowing that today? Then there's also that mundane data entry. Many of us are doing, it's like sitting there doing data entry day in and day out. So it's very, very insufficient and consuming time. When you want to take on more responsible, more important tasks than just doing data entry. And then in addition to the data entry, what about the manual matching that you're having to do? In other words, vendor invoices are coming in, and now you need to match it against the purchase order and against the receiving and any other documents with it before you can actually pay. So having to look, comparing line by line and and track those documents down so that you can do your manual matching. And then, of course, is the vendors calling in, did you receive my invoice? When is it going to be paid? Has it been paid? Can I get a copy of the payment and so forth? So the handling, of communication and the requests from your vendors can be very time consuming as well. There's many other, inefficiencies when it comes to AP process, but these are the most common. Then think about the cost, the company cost. I know that, we do this day in, day out, so we don't really realize, what the costing of your company. So this is actually a research done by the Ardent Partners. And just take a look here. The cost for the manual process of invoices, the manual traditional way, it's about $13. Now, once you go digital and automation, your process, your time costs can actually reduce down to about $3 per invoice. And then when it comes to time, take a look at your organization, calculate the time. Is like, how long is it taking you? Like I said, this research here, average is about 12 days to process a single invoice. And when, of course, using technology, it reduces down to about 3 days. I can go on with the list, of the research done, but, those are the two common, okay? So others with that is the challenge is the cost, right? Is some of your organization are paying company to for offsite storage, or that take a look at your hallway, your office space is how much space is taking for file cabinets, costs of printing papers and copier. Do you have multiple offices? Are you spending costs of courier documents from one office to the, to corporate so you can process the invoice, to the invoice, okay? Then there's also the time as well of searching for document. Think about the audit season. How much time is it taking, how many staff, how much time does it take your staff to find all the document associated with the audits? And then having to file it back, or someone want a copy, so you have to make a copy of documents. And then we talk about already data entry and the approval process, how it's delayed, and of course, remote access. And then as an organization, your strategic initiative is, many company I know, they're growing, acquisition is happening. So are you having to add additional staff to accommodate the growth? So if so, that's cost of the company, right? Or are you not able to take advantage of early pay discount because of the delay in the approval? Or maybe ending up having to pay late fees because you're not getting it approved on time, or you're not getting all the documents on time so you can do your matching. Are you complying with the audits? And also for security compliancy. And, finally is disaster preparedness. I live out in California, and, every year we have the fire, right? The earthquake. Some of you, you're in, a lot of us now are in the hurricane zone. I was in Asia, and it was typhoon. And so, like I said, don't wait until the last, until something happens to your documents, and then you say, oh my gosh, what if these document gets damaged? How am I going to, to get these documents back? So disaster preparedness is also very important as well, and another reason why you should go, digital transformation. Okay. So before we go further, let's take a look. Let's take a quick poll, as into, think about yourself, your organization. What make your job most difficult? So, feel free to, pop in and take the poll, but, is it more because of data entry? Is it the approval process is being delayed, or that there's many exception handling having to do, difficult, or are you having difficult doing matching of your documents because you'd have to wait for the documents, or the invoice is like 10 pages and you have to sit there, and match them line by line, or maybe you're not able to find documents quickly enough. Share with us. Sophia, what's your finding?
So it looks like right now, finding documents quickly has a lot of answers, as well as manual data entry, invoice approval delays, and too many invoice expectations.
Okay, well, like I said, it's pretty much covered all, right? And I'm sure many of us are experiencing more than one issues that that's indicated. So thank you for sharing. And today we're gonna help you address those issues. Okay, so let's see here, my mouse. Okay, let's think about another quick poll. Okay, so the problem or issues that you just indicated. Is it more of just annoying, or are you struggling with your job and your task because of those issues? Or is that you're crippling? In other words, you can't proceed within your task or your job because we have to wait for people, and you wait for those actions to be done. Okay, what is our finding here?
So right now we have a lot for mild, but we still have some for medium and hot that they're struggling and it's crippling.
Okay, thank you. Thank you all. Okay, so as I mentioned, we've been doing this for over 30 years. And we find that the AP process is typically the same in most organizations from the time that the invoice comes in to, opening it up and routing it for approval to coding to payment, all the way down to filing and research. Okay, so by going paperless and automation, using technology, technology can help you reduce about 60% of not only the cost, but also time. So those tasks will always be there. It's not going to go away. However, let's take advantage of technology and let technology perform a lot of those mundane work effort. So now all you have to do is to code the invoice to approve and process the payment. That's it. How can you get there? That's the next question, right? For example, with the challenges you're dealing with today, an example we hear is it's not just the AP accounting staff challenges, but whole organization, even to your leadership team. It's like, monthly, you have to provide your financial report because management have to make, corporate decision based on the report generated monthly. And so, and if you don't get those reports to them on time or have the accurate data, then then it causes issues to making their decision and it impact the organization. So how does it manifest? How does it get there? Well, could be because you don't have enough time to enter all the invoice data into the system. Could it be that you're not receiving all your documents on time so you can do your matching? Could it be because of delay in approval and you're not getting it approved on time to process the information and payment and invoice that you need to, right? So that's why taking advantage of technology, using AP automation with OCR technology, with workflow, and the integration with your ERP is going to able to reduce some of those issues and impact your organization. But when it comes to AP, it's really not just the vendor invoices. We talk about AP because that's just a tip, tip of the iceberg of the issues. But there's many documents associated with the process, from requisition to purchase order, there's packing slips, and there's maybe contract associated. And of course, when it comes to vendor, it's not just the vendor invoices, right? It's also the expense report and processing of credit card payments and so forth. So look at for technology that's going to be able to help solve issues within all those business units. That's very, very important. So, challenges from too much paper to able to access a complete file, not just the vendor, the invoices, but all documents associated with that particular transaction, right? Or dealing with missing documents because people are not getting to you on time. And then we talk about, the manual task, right? The audit trail, the security to your document, that's very important. Also is many of you have, we have retention schedule because by law, you are required to keep them for X number of years. And after that, you need to get rid of them. And then of course, also audit compliancy and a system that can actually meet your IT, initiative, the growth of the company as well. And then also a solution that can help you to conform with your business policies and process and the consistency, of the organization. So how do we get there and what technology is available and what to look for when you're considering AP automation? Okay, is many of you have an ERP solution to process your invoices, right? So when looking for a solution, it is important that you have a solution that where you can store all your documents and information in one central place. In other words, you don't want documents on your network drive, in SharePoint, or on your desktop, or in Sophia's desktop, or file cabinets. We want to centralize the storage of all your documents in one location so that it's accessible. You do not want to store the documents within your ERP, okay? And the reason why is your accounting software application is an accounting software application. It is not a document management system. Think about your file cabinet. You're storing documents, more and more into it every day. So it becomes from 100 to 1,000 to millions of documents, okay? Your accounting software application is not designed to handle the volume or the document because it's too much. If you start to store documents within your accounting software over time, the volume will grow, then it's going to cause system performance issues to your accounting software. Because again, it is not a document management system to handle documents. This is why it is important that you have a solution that lives outside of your accounting software, where all the documents are stored in. However, is that solution needs to be fully integrated with your accounting software. So look for a solution that has what we call out-of-the-box seamless integration with your accounting software, okay? And what I mean by out-of-the-box integration is that system, that company, to be an integrated partner with your accounting software provider, okay? Because the two company works together in a partnership. So when the ERP come out with a new release, or when the document management come out with a new release, the two company works together to test everything, to make sure everything's compatible. So when you as a customer, when you upgrade your accounting software or the document management system, you're not going to run into incompatibility issues, okay? So it's important to look for a out-of-the-box integrated solution. Keep in mind, there are many document management solutions out there, okay? And yes, they will tell you, oh yes, Mr. Customer, we can integrate with your accounting software. But unless they are an integrated partner and have that seamless out-of-the-box integration, they are going to be doing the customization themselves, okay? And typically it's, integration at the surface level only. So what happened when you upgrade your accounting software or when you upgrade that document management system, the integration gets broken. So you as a customer will need to pay to redo that integration. Unfortunately, it's cost that you're not going to learn about until it's time to upgrade, and by then it's already too late. So be cautious of that. And when you're looking around for a solution, ask that company are they an integrated partner? That's one. Is it out of the box, integration? Okay. Also is look for a solution that allow you to store documents in any format. In other words, from TIFF file to PDF file to Word to Excel to AutoCAD drawings and so. Why? Because when your vendors send you invoices, some of them are by mail, so you're gonna have to scan it in, and it'll be TIFF or PDF, right? Some are going to email it to you, and some, like I said, or they might send it to you in an Excel format or JPEG. Some of you, there's different file format. In addition to that, as I mentioned, there are many documents associated with your invoices, right? Because when you're doing research and you want to see the complete file, you want to see all documents. So maybe this is a construction project, and you're getting billed from the vendor. And this construction project, there's, e-size drawings and so forth. Wouldn't it be nice to able to have access to those drawings as well? Okay, so a system that can store files in any format is very, very important. Okay. Also, a system that can allow you to capture your document into the system in many different methods, not only scanning, but by email import. There's OCR technology available, there's barcode technology available, the ability to capture documents from your mobile device, the ability to upload documents from the web portals. So don't restrict yourself of methods of how you can get documents into the system. I know many of us are familiar with the good old, let me scan the documents in, okay? That's old technology. You still need it because some of your vendors are still mailing documents to you. But today, majority of your vendors wants to email it to you because they themselves do not want to waste money on stamp and printing and stuffing envelope. They are hybrid workforce like you. They don't want to have to go into the office and print them out and mail it. They want to able to email it directly from the ERP software to you. And then also, of course, is a technology that have workflow capability, because with your invoice, you're going to be routing it around for approval, and you may have different business rules, and we'll talk more about workflow in a minute here, okay? A system that allows you to access your documents at any time, 24/7 from any devices. So to able to access document from the web, from the mobile device, or also because a system that's integrated with your accounting software, accounting staff, wouldn't it be nice for you to be able to access all the documents you need to within the accounting software, okay, at your fingertip? And not only the document for that one transaction, let's say you're in the invoice screen and you only see the invoice, you want to see all the document associated with that transaction. In other words, the invoice, the packing slip, the purchase order, the contract, and so forth, all in the same screen. Okay. So things you need to consider again is that a system that able to automate not only simple business process, but also a complex process, okay? Because not every organization is the same. We have those small mom and pop organization. We have Fortune 500 companies. So some are very process are simple, others are very comprehensive. So a system that's able to accommodate your business process, okay? Also, look for a system that uses OCR and uses artificial intelligent OCR technology. What is OCR? OCR stands for optical character recognition. It can read data on your documents, okay? Type text, because when OCR reads the data, then it can passes the data over to your accounting software. So you don't have to do data entry. So the purpose of OCR is to minimize data entry, okay? And also because OCR is reading all those data down to the line item, is then the system has the ability to do automated 2- or 3-way matching. So in other words, a document management system that can match your invoice against your purchase order and against your receiving. Think of the time savings there, folks. Think about the invoice, let's say a 10-page invoice, and OCR can read it down to the line item. Then the system does matching, okay? And so that way you don't have to sit there and match them line by line. With also workflow, flexible workflow, a workflow that can be automated based on your business rules. I know some of you may have rules where based on dollar amount, it has to go to certain people for approval, or maybe based on GL code, or based on vendor, or based on location or entity, whatever your business rules are, a system that able to apply those business rules to automatically route the documents around for approval to enforce your business rules. And then also very, very, very important is searching of documents. But I'm not talking about just searching based on, field search, like based on the invoice number, or based on GL code, or based on vendor name. I'm talking also about full text searching. So think about, for example, find me all the contract anytime the word RKL and AP automation mentioned. Okay, you don't remember which order or which document, you just know that there are documents that you do have in the system that contain those words, okay? That is what we call full text searching. And yes, there are systems out there that can do that. And then able to pull up all the documents associated with your search criteria, okay? And of course, like I said, to able to have electronic forms. So think about today, you submitting requisition form or expense report form, and it might be on a piece of paper or Excel format or PDF format. Look for a system that can create those forms electronically for you. So you can, complete it electronically from your mobile device, from your, on the web, and, not having to deal with piece of paper, right? And then also a system that could be available on the cloud or, based on subscription basis or perpetual. So I'm going to give you an example of an AP automation process. Invoice comes in either by mail or email. So OCR is going to capture, we're going to capture those invoices automatically. OCR is going to read the data on your invoice, and then it's going to route it around for approval, okay? And then from there is we push the invoice data over to the ERP, so you don't have to do data entry. And then from there is you process the payment. So we're going to capture the payment, store that into the system, into your file cabinets for you. And then of course is have it archived and searchable. So a system that can actually monitor your email, and a system that grabs the email invoice from your email for you. So no staff have to monitor the email, okay? And so it grabs it. OCR will read the data on your invoice, okay? So it reads the data on your invoice and bring it into the system, even down to the line item. So you don't have to do those data entry. Once the system read down to the line item, then the system's going to do automated matching of the invoice against the purchase order and against the receiving for you. But hey, if you still enjoy doing your manual matching that you're doing today, that's fine. You can do that. But let's do it the electronic way, because when you create your purchase order, the system should be able to capture the purchase order automatically and store it into the electronic file cabinets. When you have your packing slip, you want to scan it in, store it into the system, and that can link to the purchase order. So that way, when the invoice comes in, you have everything in front of you to do your manual matching. If you want to take advantage of technology to do automated matching, the system will do that. And when it does find exceptions, it will put those invoices into an exception bucket, and it even tells you what the exceptions are. So you don't have to sit there and read through every single line. So this particular invoice here is OCR read it. It found an exception that the amount is not matching. So it puts into an exception bucket and it notify you that, hey, you need to review the amount because it's not matching. And then from there is also a system that has full integration with your ERP. allowing you to do coding of your invoices within the document management system. So in other words, you do not need to have access to the ERP to code your invoice. Why? Why would that be a benefit for you? Think of your process today. Invoice comes into accounting. Accounting routes it to the department manager for approval, and sometimes the department manager write down on the invoice what GL code they want you to use. Okay, and then routes it back to accounting. Accounting try to read their handwriting and then input that data into the accounting software. I don't know about you, but for me, that's a waste of time. Okay. And also, what if I can't read that person's handwriting? I'm guessing, or I have to pick up the phone. What GL code is that? Okay. So by utilizing technology where you can, the department manager, instead of handwriting the code on the invoice, they can actually select the code from a drop-down list in this, in the system, because it's connected directly to the GL master file within your accounting software. And yes, the system should be able to provide you with security where you can restrict certain individual from having access to certain GL code only. Okay. So that is also another, like I said, way of streamlining your process and reducing duplicate work effort. So the ability to do coding of invoices in the document management system and not having a need to access the accounting software, okay? And then, of course, there's the workflow component. So a workflow that is flexible, a workflow that can be designed to fit your business process, okay? Based on your business rules. A workflow system that allow you to the ability to either manually selecting where you want to route it to, or automated workflow, route it automatically based on your business rules. A system that can send you auto alert. So think about, Joe, you're out in the golf, Mr. CFO's out in the golf course, but he's still working. Why? Because he can access his email from his cell phone. In his email, the documents actually attached to the email. So he can open it up, look at it, and directly from email, he can actually click approve or deny directly from email. Okay, and that's all logged in the workflow audit log. So you could be anywhere from any devices and able to have access to documents, approve off on it from email, from the mobile app device, and also, from the web as well. So there's different methods of how you can approve documents and how you can have access to documents. It is so important. And there are only a very limited solution that can give you that capability where you can actually have access to the documents and able to approve off on it directly from email. Okay. Moving on. Once it's been approved, would it not be nice that a system that can actually, with one click, can push all that invoice data over to the accounting software, so you don't have to do that data entry. Okay, and a system that can actually give you able to give you access to documents directly with the accounting software. And then finally, when you process your payment, a system that can actually capture a copy of the payment along with all the data about the payment, store that copy of the payment into the file cabinets, and link the payment to the associated invoices. Because as best practice, you want to store all your documents in one place from beginning to end, from the requisition or contract stage all the way down to the payment stage. Why? Think about research. Think about when you have an audit, is that you can own the ability to go to one place to find everything. Okay. And then a system where if Sophia, Mr. Vendor calls up, Sophia, I sent you an invoice 2 months ago. What's going on? Sophia doesn't have to call accounting. Sophia can just go into that document management system and type in an invoice number, If it's been paid, okay, so she typed in the invoice number, and if it's been paid, she will see the payment date and the payment number. If she has security permission, she will see a copy of that payment. And if she has permission, she can email out a copy of payment as proof that it's been paid. So no more bothering accounting. Okay. A system that allow you to able to access and view all the document on the same screen. You don't have to open up multiple screen. Okay. And also a system that give you full audit history, the workflow history, who approved it, what date, what time, and who touched the document, who viewed it, who moved the document, who edited the document, who routed the document, and who deleted the document, and so forth. Security is very, very important. Okay, accessibility is very, very important. Also, think about your organization, okay, and look for a solution that able to meet your deployment requirements. Some of your organization, depending on your business practice, you may not be allowed to store document outside of your network. So you need a system that can be deployed on-prem, on data to be stored on your server. Okay, that's what we consider as on-prem. But then also some organization is, looking to start to go on the cloud. Or your IT is having, initiative to start having everything on the cloud. So system that could data that could be a system that could be hosted on a private cloud, or also a system that could be on a SaaS environment as well. Okay. There are many organizations that wants to start to go paperless and digital transformation. But one of the challenges they have is they don't have IT to support the system. So that's where you want to consider a system that can have the data hosted, on a hosted cloud. Okay. Or they don't have IT to manage the system. They don't want to spend money on buying servers and doing backup and maintenance. Well, that's where you need to consider a SaaS solution where it's on, the document management environment, and that organization manages the system, back up the system, maintain the system, upgrade the system, so you don't have to worry about that. Okay, so if your concern is about having IT resource, problem solved. Consider having it hosted, because then we don't need your IT as much. Okay. Or if your concern is having to invest in money to buying hardware, problem solved. Go on the cloud. Okay. All right. So I gave you some example of what to look out for. Now take a look at, consider the time saving, because your time is money. The time of filing documents, copying documents, and doing the manual matching and searching of document is time. Time is money. So think about, like I said, research been done by our partner, and for example, with the accounting clerk. Think about how many accounting clerks you have, how many work days, calculate it, add it up. Add up the number, the managers, then the cost when it takes to do audits and so on. And you're going to find that annually you're spending about, $37,000 every year, on staff time of having to search and filing and so forth. All that cost can do away with. Okay, that cost can be used for a document management system, one-time cost. So here's an example of a petroleum organization where they actually today have over 2 million documents, because they've gone paperless, and so they have 2 million documents in their document management system. No more of file cabinets, and they can access their documents literally within seconds. Okay, so consider that. Or what about cost of storing documents? Do you have offsite storage, file cabinets? Are you moving now that are you paying the square footage per square footage for those file cabinets, having to move those file cabinets to the new office. Okay, it's a time if to get rid of those file cabinets, and the cost of printing and maintenance and office rental. So think about how much paper supply you use every year, the cost for your copier, okay, file cabinets, reproducing of documents, copying of documents, and offsite storage. Okay, annual cost about $10,000, $11,000, completely do away with. Okay, so here's another example: a manufacturing company, in the Midwest, where they pay 85. I'm not kidding. Okay, they pay $85,000 every year for offsite storage. They have millions and millions, pages of documents. And so if they've gone paperless, and those the 85, they save $85,000 every year. Think about the raise that you can have with that $85,000 every year. Okay. And then, of course, is the money spent of routing documents, tracking of the document, and what about your company? Do you have multiple offices, locations, and so forth? What is the courier cost to get those documents over to the system? Or maybe you're spending time scanning those documents to get over to corporate office. Again, it's time, right? So the time of scanning, filing of documents, are not able to take advantage of early pay discount, courier costs, about $35,000. So take advantage of the workflow automation to able to reduce that cost. So here's another company, an example. It's a national, restaurant chain, 46 locations, and they literally had courier, okay, every day, courier all the documents from all those 46 locations over to corporate office. They spend $150,000 courier cost every year. And of course, now they can quickly get those documents over to corporate by going paperless and automation, and no more courier costs. So understanding your ROI, folks, is very, very important, because the cost does add up. And so once it's cost that you don't realize, from the accounting clerk cost. Okay, your company growing, do you have to hire additional headcount? Well, you don't have to. Let's take advantage of technology to do that mundane work effort, so that AP, you can take on more important tasks. Okay, and so bottom line is, in summary, the cost that you can save, adding up all those costs that I just illustrated every year, saving $85,000 every year. Okay. So finally is, I want to conclude this presentation of things you need to think about. Okay, is when you're looking for a solution, look for a solution that can grow with you. I know today we're talking about AP automation, but think about a solution that can be expanded to other department use. I'm going to promise you that once you start to go paperless and automation, other departments are going to see how efficient you are, how fast you're able to access your information, that they are going to want to go paperless as well. So as an organization, how beneficial it is to have one system to able to manage all your company documents, one system for users to learn, one system for IT to manage, one system for your company to invest in instead of multiple systems. Okay. And a system that can grow and expandable. In other words, you start in AP and then you expand that system to other departments, having additional modules to meet those other departments' requirements. Okay. A system that can help you save on a lot of your hard costs and soft costs, and able to meet your company-wide initiative. Okay. Importantly is, when you start to look for a system and considering digital transformation, is take your time at the very beginning. flowchart out your process, okay, is and strategize the planning as a team, not just one department, but as a team, because you want a system that's able to grow and meet the company-wide requirements. So, as a company initiative, okay, and also is consider add up all the costs, course, okay, and then able to have a system that can be customized based on your business process. In other words, you don't want to change your process to able to use a system. You want the system to be able to be catered to your process. Okay. And then also finally is, most importantly is when you're looking for a system, reach out to RKL, okay, to your trusted advisor, because they can ensure that you select the right solution best fit for your need and have a system that has out-of-the-box integration with your ERP, because it's going to save you a lot of cost and headache, in the long run. So with that, I'm going to conclude this presentation with a quick poll here let's see here. So share with us, like I said, what you've learned today, how we can help your organization with your paperless journey. Okay, would you like a copy of this recording? Would you like help in mapping out your process and how we can help your organization cut down on costs? Would you like to get started in evaluating a solution? And like I said, would you like to meet with your RKL trusted advisor and to start working on this process? Back to you, Sophia.
Great. So looks like what we have so far is everybody wants the session recording, which you will get. That's great.
All right. Well, again, we thank you for your opportunity. I know there's a lot to digest today. Okay. But it's taking that first step, because I know changes can be challenging. We're all used to having our paper, right? And I personally have been doing, document management for about maybe 25 years or so. Okay. And I have trained, from, people, from who are not very computer savvy. I remember training a lady when I said, right mouse click. Okay, she jumped on her chair and she said, mouse. She didn't even know what a right mouse click is. Okay, and for her, several months later, come back and say, I wish I started using, going paperless sooner than later. Because, because you will start to live and breathe in that document management system. It's going to become like your microwave or your email, okay? Because it's going to be your go-to day-to-day solution, to conduct business. So, take a chance, you got to start somewhere. Don't wait until it's too late. Today this is our new life now, hybrid workforce. So, wouldn't be nice for you to work from home or on the road and able to access your document. Me, myself, I travel all over the world, and I can, I don't have to worry because I can access all my clients' file, all the contract, everything I need at my fingertip from my mobile device, because, we too are, have gone digital transformation for many, many years. So thank you everyone for the opportunity. And Sophia, I'll pass it back to you.
Great. Thank you, Laura. So we do have a couple of questions here at the end. And so I'll start off with this one, which I know you just kind of mentioned on your last slide with things to think about. So for businesses looking to transition to a paperless environment, what are some of the key processes outside of AP that can benefit from automation?
Oh, excellent question. So typically most organizations will start with AP because that's the trouble spot in most organizations, the bottleneck. But think about your purchasing department, right? There might be purchase requisition, there might be approval that's needed. So streamlining your purchasing department. There's also receiving as well. Many of you get tons and tons of orders and packing slip that, and you're tired of doing that manual receiving. So a system that can do automated receiving for you and having all those documents in one place. What about expense report? I know before I was doing the good old Excel spreadsheet and it took me hours to do my expense report. I dread doing my expense report because I also lose my receipt all the time too. So able to do expense report. Oh, contract management, very, very popular now. Okay. The ability to, to track your contract, for a system to send you auto alerts to let you know when contract expires or when the retention period is up, or to able to search, keyword search for any words on the contract is very important as well. Version control, check in, check out. Because with contract, different people editing it, working on it, to able to track all the edits and versions. And then of course is electronic signature. So DocuSign integration and all that, electronic signature is also very big as well. Okay. And then also is AR for the AR processing, a system that can send you alert to let you know when your AR invoice is going to be past due, or a system that can send out past due, automatically send out past due notices to your customer. Okay. So those are, and HR because of HIPAA compliancy. So look for a system that can meet with HIPAA requirements. And so that way it allows you to able to store and manage your HR files to help you with the onboarding process. So you comply with the onboarding. A system that can securely, store your HR files and only give permission to certain, documents, and able to redact certain confidential information on your HR document, using it as a resume bank. Oh goodness, I can just go on and on and on of many popular, areas, but those are just a few.
Great, thank you. And another one here, what are some key security considerations that organizations should keep in mind when transitioning sensitive financial and business documents from paper to digital formats?
Well, security is very, very important. Not only secure, the security level where it needs to be granular. Just imagine your company have multiple entity. To able to secure certain employee to have access documents to certain entity only, or down even deeper within a certain entity, but in certain department within that entity. Okay, and even deeper than that, certain documents within the department. So for example, think about your vendor invoices, and Sophia is an accounting staff, but we want to restrict Sophia so that she can only have access to certain vendor document because she's responsible for working on only certain vendors. And we want Sophia only to have access to the vendor invoices only, certain vendor invoices. We don't want her to have access to the packing slip or the purchase order. So it's down to that granular level. Or maybe, like I said, for HR, the ability to redact like social security number or date of birth, the ability to restrict where Sophia can only have access to her HR file only, but she cannot see the information that's been redacted. Okay. A system that has a full audit trail. Who logged in, what time, what date, what action was performed to which documents. So that way, when you have an audit, that you're able to provide us full audit log.
Awesome. And one more here. Where are we? So if a vendor information changes, is there a DMS system that stores / integrates with the ERP vendor information so those changes are picked up seamlessly?
Absolutely. It's important that you look for a solution that the company is an integrated partner with your ERP solution. Okay, and because and having an out-of-the-box integration, because with the out-of-the-box integration, when you update data within your ERP, in the back end of the database, the ERP will communicate with that document management system and pass over the updated information. So in other words, a fully integrated solution that can pass data back and forth between the two applications, so you have consistency of data in both places. This is why it is important that you consult with RKL so that they can ensure that the solution, that you're looking at has that capability.
Yep, definitely. Great. Well, I don't think we have any more questions right now. So I think we're going to go ahead and run it out here. Thank you all for attending today's webinar, and thank you, Laura, for presenting. Our next webinar in the summer series is with Quadient, and it's a CPE webinar, Eliminate Frictions in Your Accounts Payable Workflow, and that's next or 2 Wednesdays from now on September 6th, and we hope to see you there. Thank you, everybody.